Welcome to Condo Craze and HOAs on our Condo Craze channel on YouTube. I'm Karen Curtis and I'm here again with attorney Eric Glazer. He has a law office in Fort Lauderdale and it's called Glazer and Sachs. He's board certified by the Florida Bar in Condominium and Planned Development Law. And he has attorneys in Fort Lauderdale and Orlando. And we're here each week to answer all your calls and emails about the issues that make life in your condominium absolutely crazy from one minute to the next. We love to get the phone lines going early. And you can also ask your question in the chat box. Sometimes people call and ask the question in the chat box. That's fine.
Double dipping.
They're double dipping, but they just want to make sure they get the question answered.
Absolutely.
And there's always so many questions.
My pleasure.
The number to call is 717-GLAZER-8. That's with a Z. Or the numerical version of that is 717-452-9378. And again, you can visit the Condo Craze and HOA's chat box because you're watching us right there on the channel. It'll be off to the side. And there's Eric.
Hey, good morning, everybody. And remember to subscribe to two things. Number one, like Karen says, subscribe to the Condo Craze and HOA's channel on YouTube, because by doing so, you not only get the chance to watch the show live, but like a podcast, you can watch the show at your convenience. And we built up such a nice library. It's really nice. You know, like I said last week, you have a topic you want to research, believe me, we did a show about it.
Yeah, we've
right?
been doing it for 15 years. I
right,
think you've got
exactly.
it.
So, you
and
know,
your blog.
Watch it at your convenience. We sign up for our email list, because by signing up for our email list, you'll get announcements about our blog, which we do every Monday morning at hoa-condoblog.com. You'll get email announcements about changes to the law. And just before coming onto the show, I checked to see what's going on with potentially new laws. And House Bill 1021, which contains a provision for mandatory education, has already passed the House.
But it just scraped by.
Yeah, just scraped by 110 to 0. 110 to 0. So we can't celebrate yet. It hasn't passed the Senate yet. The Senate hasn't voted on it yet.
It went to the Rules Committee, but it's had a third reading.
Yeah.
It's close.
It's close. Now, the House, the legislature closes, what, on the 8th, I think you said,
March
right?
8th.
So within the next day or two, I got my fingers crossed. I expect it to pass the Senate as well. And when that does, we'll certainly announce it next week. We will not celebrate, however, I learned the hard way, we will not celebrate, however, until Governor DeSantis signs the damn bill, right? Because we had that happen before when it passed the House, passed the Senate,
Governor Scott.
And then it was vetoed. So we're not going to celebrate too early.
Well, the safety thing was hooked to it.
The fire code was right, exactly.
And there was a fire at a condo or something in London.
In London, and that killed my education bill. Can you imagine that? Because it was all in one bill. That was terrible. But again, I expect it to happen this year. And again, that blog is at hoa-condoblog.com. Tomorrow's topic, we're talking about parking today. Tomorrow's topic is parking part 2.
Oh my God.
You don't have no idea. You want to talk about fights, battles that go on?
You should write a book called Parking.
Not only between the association and the members of the association. I'm talking about battles between the members themselves.
Oh, yeah.
Over parking. I mean,
the members of the board or the
No,
residents?
I'm talking about the residents themselves.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's the association versus the residents, and other times it's the residents themselves. And that's when you lead to cars getting keyed and things like that. I heard things like that can sometimes happen. Hey, you want to know something? I was dumb enough as a young kid to represent the association that I actually lived in. True story. The first time I leaned to people in the community, I go to my car in the morning, and there it is, scratched from one side to the other. So that was a hint and a half.
That's horrible.
Don't represent the community that you live in. It can only be bad.
Oh my God, that's awful.
I learned the hard way.
I know that we bought our condo because the parking space is right out front, and my dad's 90 and he can't see, right? But he's mobile. But you just get out of the car and walk straight up a walk into the house on the first floor. It's like the perfect parking spot on the planet.
Now, not every person, even with disabilities, has that.
Yeah.
And we'll talk about whether or not they're entitled to it. Right? We'll talk about that this morning.
So don't forget, everybody, that you can also follow the show on Facebook, TikTok, Apple, Spotify, anywhere you get your podcasts.
It's great. It's great.
Yeah.
And you know, getting back to parking for a second, it's a topic that needs to be covered from so many angles. And I got to tell you,
it affects everybody.
Everybody. Of course, everybody has a car, right? And you won't believe how much has been written about the topic by arbitrators and judges, and the topic is so large. I'm going to probably be only able to hit about half the topic this week, and we'll probably deal with it next week. There's so many fights. There's so many arbitration decisions. There's so many lawsuits involving parking. You know, it could really make your head spin, believe it or not.
Yeah, so for someone who doesn't dabble in these matters every day, it's hard to imagine that parking could be such a humongous topic. And you would think, you know, I have a place to park in and that's it, topic done.
Yeah, and that's
right?
It. Doesn't, not even close.
Oh.
Not even close.
Do I own that parking space?
Sometimes.
Okay.
So that's exactly what we got to talk about, right?
Okay.
There's so many different variations. And how about this to start? So many of our condominiums, remember, they were built when? They were built in, you know, the 50s, 60s, and it was built at a time where you didn't own more than one automobile, right?
Yeah.
It was, you know, if you had an automobile, right, you certainly didn't have more than one per household. So many homes, as a result, you know, they were just built totally different than they were today. And a building could be built, let's say, with far less parking spots than what would be required today under today's laws. For example, let's say in the 1960s you had a 100-unit condominium building, right? That building consisted of 1, 2, 3-bedroom units, and that could be built back then with maybe as little as 100 parking spaces.
Even for guests?
Yeah, and that would include probably guests as well, very few. You have no idea. I represent some smaller buildings on Miami Beach, let's say, that have 30 units, and there's 25 parking spaces. You figure it out.
Oh my God.
Right, think about that. And
No,
there's certainly
that's
no
insane.
guest parking.
Well, is that why they say then you can't have work vehicles and trucks and all that stuff?
And that's
makes
why,
it easier.
That's why we say you can go on with this topic forever,
I
because
see.
the fighting
It just-
doesn't stop. And that same building today, right, where we say with 100 parking spaces back then, you can rest assured today that building would have to be built with, let's say, 165 parking spaces. Now, think of how much more land you would need to add those extra 65 parking spaces.
Oh,
You know,
yeah, it's insane.
Yeah, it's an increase of 65 parking spaces, realize, for the exact same building.
Right.
Big difference in the law between then and now.
Plus now your wife is driving and your kids are driving.
Exactly.
I mean, back
Some
then,
cars-
the women weren't allowed to drive.
But you're talking about, instead of one at most per home, you're talking about 3.
Yeah,
Right? 3
at
you would
least.
need.
And so when you move into a condominium, as I said, I asked you before, do you actually own the parking spot, or are you just allowed, are you just assigned it?
And there's a different story, basically, to every building. So when constructing the condominium, you know, and the condominium documents, the developers are faced with a decision, basically, on how to label these parking spaces. What do they do with them? What do they call them? What parking scheme should they develop for the property? And there's several methods that are now found in condominium documents and declarations. So let's just talk about a couple of them. Let's review. Some declarations simply treat all of the parking spaces as common elements,
Okay.
period. What does that mean? When the board of directors can make reasonable rules and regulations regarding all of the parking spaces. The unit owners don't own the parking spaces, and it's subject to board rules. Basically, whatever is, you know,
So someone can go to the board and sway them to give them a better parking space.
potentially, but the board can make reasonable rules
Okay.
and regulations, you know, about this particular area.
But we know that board members do stuff, you know.
You think they might give themselves a better parking space? Is that
Or
what you're
friends.
insinuating?
Oh,
That's
no.
terrible to say that. Not on this show.
Oh my God. So if all the parking is common elements, can the board give older or
Owners, right? Yeah, like your father, you were saying.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Or
Elderly
older
owners.
owners, or owners who own longer. Can they
Okay.
give them
Over
better
new
spots?
owners.
Yes, correct. And the answer to that would be absolutely. If they believe that that's a reasonable rule, that as the longer you own, you get a better spot over time.
I
right?
think our parking space increases the value of our condo.
No question. Right.
You know?
That's exactly right. No two ways about it. And here's another way parking is dealt with. Older declarations may allow the developer to actually sell specific parking spaces to specific units. So the parking spaces are actually found in the deed to your home. So you don't only just get unit 307, you get unit 307 and parking space number 12.
So
and
it
that's
would be in the
your
deed.
right?
Okay,
and
okay.
these parking spaces typically remain with that unit forever. It's there.
Okay.
It's there. It's, you know, it's with the spot.
Okay. So, and is it possible for an owner to keep their unit, sell their parking space to another owner?
Is that possible? Sometimes it is. Yes, in many associations
You'd have
it's
to
allowed.
quit claim deed the
Just the parking
space.
space. Correct. Sometimes it's allowed, yes, and here's another method.
Or can you rent it out?
Again, whatever is in your governing documents.
Whoa.
And what you just said happens all the time.
Really?
I have a better spot than you, right? I don't really have a car, but I know you have a car. You may even need a second spot. I'm going to rent you my space every month.
For how much are we talking?
Is that allowed? Maybe $200 a month. If you're willing to give it to me, should that be allowed? Any problem with that if it's not affecting anybody?
Do you have to let the board know?
Let's say you have to let the board know.
Oh, because their car is going to be in your spot. You have to let them know.
Well, but not if you own the spot. If you own the spot,
it doesn't
there's going to be
matter.
no other car in the spot, right?
Oh.
But suppose it's by rule you get that spot. There's just, again,
Right.
it's a
So if I
it's a
own the
circle.
spot, no other car can be in the spot.
Right, exactly.
Even if I rent it out.
Right, but sometimes the board will say, no, you can't rent it out. Sometimes the board will say, yes, go rent it out.
But you
no
have to
problem.
let the board know because there's another car in
You're
your
right.
spot.
Typically, you got to let the board know. Or if not, when they see a different car in your spot, what do they want to do? They'll tow it.
Yeah.
So yes, you got to let the board know. Absolutely.
Oh my God, you were right. There's so much to learn about parking.
So yeah, and sometimes that's not allowed where you can rent it to other spots. But here's another method: the developer gets to assign a spot to a unit, but you can't sell that spot. The developer didn't sell the spot to that unit owner. And
So it's up to the developer.
it's up to the developer. That's right. This all happens
Before
with
it's
the
handed
developer.
over.
Correct. And that parking space, if the developer does it that way, where it's just assigned to a unit, it becomes a limited common element of that unit. It also stays with that unit, and it becomes a limited parking common element assignable to that unit. You can't sell it. You can't sell it apart from the unit, but it stays with that unit. And sometimes you'll see a declaration that allows the unit owners the right to transfer the parking space to other unit owners, but you got to make sure that every unit at all times has one space. It gets complicated. It really does.
Yeah.
There's a lot to learn about parking, and you want to talk about a situation where it gets messy. Here's one. The declaration says that the developer can assign parking spaces. They won't always be classified as limited common elements, and you'll see in the declaration that the developer shall maintain a list of which units get which spaces. Now, I'm doing this 32 years. How many hundreds of associations did I represent, right? Go find that list that the developer created assigning spaces to each unit. Nobody knows where those lists are. Those are gone. It's very few times where I represented an association and someone has that list. Doesn't exist.
Unless you have it on your deed. And you know.
That's when it's deeded. But I'm talking about a situation where the document says the developer gives these units to these parking spaces.
So you have no
to these
idea.
Units. And then the board got to make some reasonable rules and regulations, and it could be a mess, and these messes happen routinely.
Yeah, and so what if someone needs a better space because they have a disability? I don't see handicap parking where we are.
Because, and that's a whole other issue. We can talk about this, and as we're talking about, just issues come up.
Unless you have commerce in your condominium
Bingo,
building.
very good, that's right. Unless there are commercial units in your building, and this happens all the time. I get a call from people with disabilities, and they say, there's no handicap parking in my building. The next question is, well, do you have commercial units? Are there businesses going on in your building? And if the answer is no, well, there's usually no need for handicap parking at all. You're not required to put handicap parking in.
Even if you're working out of your house?
That's correct. Even if there's working out of your house, there's no official businesses that are going on there. So no, but but suppose someone needs a better spot because of a disability. We're saying, like perhaps your dad, and that's all you have to do under federal law. Under federal law, it's very simple. You got to make a request for a reasonable accommodation.
Okay, reasonable.
Under federal law, just make a request for a reasonable accommodation, and then the board has to do all it can to accommodate you. Okay, any reasonable steps they can take to accommodate you, they must accommodate you. Okay, period.
So it's interesting, and I want to take this moment now to tell you that this
please.
guy, he got rid of his Maserati. and he has purchased an electric vehicle. It's an all-electric vehicle. It's not a hybrid.
I let down my Republican friends this week. Oh my God, have I let them down? Yes, I got an electric vehicle.
It's a Cadillac Lyriq. It drives like butter.
It's a beautiful car.
And he's able to plug it in at home, but this guy also wrote the bill that allows now condos and HOAs to put in charging stations, which you're getting.
Spots, correct. This, I'm not going to say, I don't want to steal the thunder of another attorney in my office. Paul Kim wrote the bill. But yeah, at the time there was only one state that had an electric vehicle charging station bill. Now Florida became the second. So again,
well, we had people with extension cords coming out of the second story.
Right, windows to plug it in.
To plug it in.
Right. But you
can't
can even.
do that.
I haven't had the real charger installed yet.
Right.
But for now, you can even charge your car in a regular plug.
So,
in a regular outlet. Very slow.
Yeah.
But even that works.
That's amazing.
So, listen, I'm not going to lie. It's pretty cool not to have to ever, when you think about it, I don't ever have to go to a gas station ever again. There's something I like about that.
Yeah. I see you're all lit up there. So what about electric vehicles and parking spaces?
And again, we drafted the statute. It used to be where if someone bought an electric vehicle and they'd come back to the condo and say, okay, listen, I'm doing what I'm supposed to for the environment, and I'm going to put an electric vehicle charging station right there. And the board would say, no, you're not going to happen. Now they have to.
They have to allow you.
Yeah, if you're willing to jump through a lot of hoops, I'm not going to name all the hoops, but if you're willing to obviously pay for it, it's got to be done.
Well, but your new car, the dealership is paying for most of it.
Yeah, they give you back some of the money to actually do the work at your home. That's right. And it really doesn't cost much at all once they pay for it. But in a condo, as long as you're willing to pay for all the work, it's got to be done by someone licensed and insured. It's got to be done with full permits.
And off your meter.
It's got to be certainly off your meter. Right. You're going to pay the bill every month.
Can't put it off your neighbor's meter.
Right. If you're willing to do all that, and there's even more hoops that you have to jump through, if you're willing to do all that, the condo now cannot prevent you from installing an electric vehicle charging station in your parking space, in your assigned spot.
Which increases the value of your home.
Absolutely. No question about it.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. What about valet parking?
See, the topics are endless, right? In some condos, believe it or not, you have to use the valet parking system every single day. You have to pull up, and you're paying for it each month in your assessments.
And do you tip this person?
It's supposed to be included in your assessments. You're not required to tip the person. And I remember sometimes going to, let's say, nicer condominiums, really big, hooty-tooty condominiums, let's say.
Hoity-toity.
Whatever it's called. Right, I blew that one. Right? Whatever it's called. And I go and they'll tell me, go valet the car. And don't tip the guy. I'm like, what do you mean don't tip the guy? It's included. And you say, what do you care if I tip the guy? No, you're not supposed to tip the guy. If I want to tip the guy, I'll tip the guy, right? So that's how it works. They require you to park in valet. So what I'm saying is, there are just an endless amount of possibilities.
But that gets rid of all the parking problems.
If it's just valet?
Yeah.
That's true.
You don't have to worry about what space, who's where, what.
Except now you got to pay a valet company a lot of money every month, and that's going to make your assessments go way up. So they ain't doing it
and
for
if
free.
they damage your car.
Right. And I can't tell you how many types of cases I had like that.
Now, what if you have an electric vehicle? The valet's going to plug it in?
Are they going to do that? Are they going to accept the responsibility for doing that, right? And if they forget...
Yeah, and you come downstairs and your car's not...
Right. Exactly.
Yeah, how's that going to work?
Don't know. I haven't had one of those cases yet, but eventually we'll find out, right?
Are we finally done with parking?
Not even close. not even close. You can go on forever. We haven't spoken about...
Oh, what was that weird kibbutzy thing that was parked in...
Oh, remember that? Whether you could put a religious...
what was that thing?
A sukkah.
A sukkah.
Whether or not you can put a sukkah in your parking space. Okay, you're not going to let me put it on my balcony. You're not going to let me put it, on the common elements. Fine, I'll put it in my assigned parking space on top of my truck.
Yeah.
Remember that?
My sukkah.
Can you do that one?
Remember that.
That's right. What about the whole fight about commercial vehicles?
Yes,
right?
yes.
What all of that.
Just take the magnetic sign off.
Right. That's a whole other topic we can talk about. forever. What about trucks?
Yeah.
What is a truck? What isn't a truck, right?
Right.
Again, you can go on forever. There's a lot to know about this, and it's not as boring a topic as some may think.
No.
But let's go to the phones. Let's go to our chat box. Let's take our first break of the hour. Let's see what the listeners think. Give us a call here in the studio, 717-GLAZER-8, 717-GLAZER-8. That's 717-452-9378. Or drop us a question or comment in the chat box on the Condo Craze and HOA's YouTube channel. We'll be back right after this.
Very large management companies, and there are very small management companies. And I think Affinity sits somewhere in the middle of that, where they are big enough to provide you with all of the back of the house services, the accounting, the infrastructure, the support systems, but small enough to be high touch.
We believe at Affinity that we do the 9 to 5 so that you don't have to do that.
Oh no, an unexpected leak. Jay, you know that's no way to solve a roof problem. Call Best Roofing. We solve roof problems.
We are DMI Paving and Seal Coating, Florida's parking lot experts. We specialize in asphalt paving and repair, including pothole repair, seal coating using JC7 or polytar, concrete curbs, ramps, and walkways, and striping and pavement marking, as well as ADA compliance. We service commercial properties, including homeowners associations, apartment communities, shopping malls, warehouses, stadiums and arenas, and more. Experience is worth more than anything in an industry like ours, and our staff has decades of it. We have specialized equipment for any job, regardless of size, saving you time and money. DMI has a reputable history. We have been in business since 1956. We serve the state of Florida from 6 locations. Let us bid on your next parking lot project. Visit us online at dmipavingandsealcoating.com.
For mitigation after a catastrophic event, building restoration, repair and remediation consulting, or Senate Bill 4D inspections, please visit rimkis.com.
Welcome back to Condo Craze and HOAs on our YouTube channel. I'm Karen Curtis, attorney Eric Glazer, board certified in community association law. In fact, he teaches seminars to board members and residents all around the state. You invented it, and now there's legislation that's passing. It's passed the House, and it looks like it's passing the Senate to require your education.
Absolutely, so far up until now. Now, just think about it. We've been having amazing turnouts at our seminars.
Standing room only.
And it wasn't actually required. You could have been lazy and signed that ridiculous, stupid form that I'm talking about for the last how many years, right? And even without being required to attend a course, look how many people showed up. So now what do you think is going to happen? When every single board member in the state is going to be required to take a class.
You're the gold standard.
Yeah, thank you. It's going to be mobbed.
And February is done.
February is done, but guess what? Right around the corner, April next month, we start all over again. This time we start out though on the other side of the state. Tampa, love teaching in Tampa.
Yes.
You know why I like teaching in Tampa?
Why?
Because I teach in the same room that I took the bar exam.
Oh, that is so
it's
cool.
ironic, right? It's ironic. So, taking the exam to
Yeah,
become an attorney,
it's
and now
full circle.
I teach in that room.
Full
yeah,
circle.
love it. So that's April 1st in Tampa.
No fooling.
Yep.
Broward, you're going to be April 3rd at the Broward Convention Center, and this all starts at 8:30 in the morning
Right,
at the
8:30 in the
L&L
morning
condo.
at the L&L events. They put on such great events.
HOA Expo.
Absolutely. And Palm Beach, April 10th at the Palm Beach Convention Center. Again, this is at the L&L Expo. As you said, all of them start at 8:30. And what's great, it's not just going to class.
No.
At the end, you can go visit about 100 different vendors, many of whom were sponsors of this show.
That's right.
By the way, fantastic. And go see what they can offer for your condominium or for you. It's a really great day. Lunch is provided for free.
It's free. It's all free,
It's an
by the
all,
way.
it's
Yeah.
a great day.
And you have to be certified and take the course
Right.
within
If
90
you,
days.
Yeah, if you take this class, by the way, and the bill passes and it looks like it's going to be,
Oh, it's
as long
gonna-
as you took
it's
this
gonna
class,
count.
yeah, it looks like it's going to count.
Oh,
Yes.
fantastic. So,
So-
and you teach a lot of stuff. The new safety and inspection and reserve funding laws, the importance of the from time to time language, the Kaufman language, official records, different types of documents that govern your community, emotional support animals,
Yeah.
parking and pets,
Yeah.
and a lot more. And of course, food is served and you get to meet him.
It's fun. It's a fun day, and I think you know how much I enjoy doing it.
I know
right?
you
That's
love
what
it.
I was
I
born
know
for.
you
I
love
actually
it.
love that. Yeah, and I really enjoy meeting everybody. So take the class on the days we just said. How about we take our first phone call of the day?
Yeah, let's go to, we have Barry on the phone.
Barry,
Barry, how are you, Barry?
where are you today?
Karen, hi Eric.
Hey, how are you?
How are you?
What's going on?
Good. So let's talk about some numbers, okay?
Yeah.
Okay. So there's about 10,000 condominiums that didn't report to the DBPR that they were 3 floors or above.
Right.
They had until January 1st of 2023 to send that reporting in. Okay?
10,000.
You said 23 or 24, Barry?
23 they had to send it
They
in.
had to send it in by, okay.
The reporting form.
Okay.
So of the 27,500 condominiums in Florida, only about 10,500 sent the form in.
God, way less than half.
So
Third.
that's all the DBPR knows, and those are the condominiums that are subject to the structural integrity reserve study requirement.
Right.
There's probably another 10,000 condominiums that did not send in the form. The DBPR knows nothing about them, and they're subject to this
Requirement.
structural integrity reserve study requirement. The other 7,500, and I don't know if that's the right number or not, but let's say 7,500 condominiums are 1 and 2 story condos, and they're not subject to the requirement.
Right.
And maybe I'm off. Who knows what that number
Right.
is. But you probably have 10,000 condominiums that there's no way that the DBPR can enforce the SIRS requirement because they have no idea who these condominiums are.
And there is no penalty.
Well, the only way it's going to be enforced is under the statute, a unit owner would have to take their association to mediation. Not to court, that's the crazy part, but they would have to start out in mediation.
But why would a unit owner
And
want
why
to do
would a
that? Because
unit
they're
owner
going to
wanna-
pay more money.
Right, it's got to come out of their pocket.
No.
Right? It's true. Why would they do it? And the only answer to that
To make the
question
building
is,
safe.
well, because to make their building safer. But Barry brings up a good point. Is this going to be enforced by the DBPR? That's really the question of the
But
day.
they don't know who's.
They don't know which ones are 3
How do you
stories
know?
or more. So Barry, that raises a good point. Should the building official in every jurisdiction, maybe they should be the ones that notify the DBPR which condominiums within their jurisdiction are 3 stories or more, not make it self-reporting.
Yeah, self-reporting is not going to work. I mean, do you think the people who live in condos who don't want their assessments to be increased, do you think anybody in that type of condominium is going to file a complaint and do, as Karen says, incur legal costs?
You're right. You're right.
and have increased maintenance fees.
Yeah,
They're not.
it's
And
insane.
the building official in the jurisdiction, they don't enforce the structural integrity reserve study requirement. They do enforce the safety inspections.
Okay.
But not necessarily the reserve portion, the mandatory reserves. So yes, a lot of the condominiums, it's true, may get away with not having structural integrity reserve study done in their condominium, and what's going to happen if the DBPR doesn't even know they exist? You raise a good point, Barry, like always. I really appreciate it. And
What
you
would
make
we
us
do
think
without
on the show.
Barry?
Thank you so much.
Oh, yeah.
Thanks
and
for the call.
Congratulations on this bill
Thank you.
passing the House, by
Yeah,
the way.
right. Barry, you still there?
Yeah.
Barry
I'm
left.
still here.
Hey, thank you so much for all your help on House Bill 1021. It looks like it passed the House. It was very close, 110 to 0, right?
Everybody voted
Yeah,
for it.
and
Right.
it's in the Senate at the moment, and we're hoping, obviously, that it passes the Senate within the next 5 days.
Yeah, one more comment, Eric.
Yeah.
You know who gets 99% of the credit for the mandatory board education requirement? He's the host of the show.
Thanks, Barry. Thank you
Eric.
so much. I really appreciate it. Thank you very, very much for that. You have a great day, Barry.
Sure.
Okay. All right. Who do we got?
Let's go to Gilda.
Hi, Gilda.
Good morning, Eric and Karen.
Hey.
Hey. Good morning.
I'm Gilda in North Miami Beach.
Yes.
And first question has to do with the mandatory education.
Yes.
Because even though it was put into law years ago, and I got certified in 2010, there's nothing or anybody to enforce it. It was supposed to be the secretary of the board.
Okay. You're
Who
right.
is going to be enforcing it?
So here's what the law always said, right? You have to get certified within 90 days of getting on the board. If you don't get certified within 90 days, technically you are off the board. Now, if you tell people you didn't get certified, you didn't take the class, so you didn't sign the document, so okay, so what do? Give me the document, I'll
And
sign
it, now
right?
you're back
and now
on.
you're back on the board. How
Right.
stupid was that, right?
Right, they can do it online. Okay, but
they-
that was wrong. You're saying
Right. So
Go ahead.
now you're going to be required, right, every year, it's my understanding, to sign something and send it into the DBPR stating these are the members of the board, and yes, here's the courses that they took. So the DBPR, yes,
And
you do have to
continuing
notify
that.
the DBPR. And there's
doing
mandatory
that,
continuing
doing what?
education. Sorry,
who is going to be doing that?
again, the DBPR, it's my understanding, the amount of people that they're about to hire is going to basically double.
Good.
Now,
And
Eric, excuse me.
yeah,
Who is going to be sending it into the DPR?
the condominium itself is going to be required to send in a form every single year to the DBPR
The
stating.
secretary.
Yeah. Oh, you're saying who?
Yeah.
The association. The
Oh, the
association. The
association.
board is
Well-
going to be required.
Eric,
But who on the
the
board?
secretary did not enforce the previous law. Who was, that was
I understand, but now if the
because they were
association.
probably not certified.
Hold on, I hear you, and I understand your frustration. But now there's
Thank
going to
you.
be a law that says the association must do it. If they don't do it, the DBPR knows that you're not doing it. And yes, they can fine you.
Oh,
Absolutely,
there
no
you
two
go.
ways about it.
Okay.
Okay,
Teeth,
but I do
teeth.
understand your frustration.
Thank you.
Look,
Yes.
look,
Yes.
things are about to change, and they're going to change little by little. We know that things don't automatically change overnight, in big ways. However, education has changed in a big way.
Yes.
This is a massive change. Florida, I am proud of this. I got to tell
You
you,
should. It's
I'm
your
glowing
legacy.
from it.
I know you did it.
You know,
I know you.
think about this.
Yeah.
We're the only state that I know of, the only state in the entire country that's now going to require mandatory education for board members.
Hallelujah.
How awesome is that?
It's
That'll
awesome.
be
right?
interesting to watch. Yes.
Thank you
But
so much
that's
for the call,
another
Gilda.
question. No,
Oh,
no,
she has
no.
another
Oh, you got another one. Sorry,
That
go
was
ahead.
not
It's a
the
quick,
twofer.
quick.
I do. It has to do, number one, I'll lob you with softball. If a deed is in an LLC name, can the person in that unit run for the board?
Absolutely,
With their
100%.
name not being
100%. Yeah, the person is, even if it's
Okay.
in an LLC, of course they could run for the board. Now, it would be great if the statute clarified this a little bit. You know, I would say the person who you send in a voting certificate, the person who's on the voting certificate would certainly be fine. And I just had this. I was at an election about a year ago where the ombudsman even showed up. And the ombudsman, I argued with the ombudsman accepted my position that as long as you can show you're affiliated in a real way with that company. In other words, you're a president, you're a vice president of the company, you're a manager of the company. If you can show any of those things, absolutely you're entitled to run.
You'll be in the incorporation document.
You could. But that is mandatory that they have to show that?
Yes, you have to show some affiliation with the company. You can't just say, I'm Joe Blow, and
I thought you were going to say I'm Joe Biden.
Okay. Thank you. But I have another
Biden.
question also regarding the voting. Is that I was told that the time frame was different than it used to be. That the first notice of the annual meeting used to be 60 days, and the second notice with the candidates, with the list of candidates, should be 30 days before the meeting.
It's still the same.
Correct, or has it changed?
That's same. The first notice has to go out 60 days. The second notice between 14 and 30 days. Okay?
Oh, because the property management office said it could be 14.
Between 14 and 30. Okay? Thanks, Gilda. We got a lot of people lined up. All right? Who do we got? Come on.
That was a three.
We do the best we can.
That was a threefer.
Right? Who do we got, Rob?
Let's go to John in Dania Beach.
Hey, John, how are you? We are already really late.
Sorry.
For our bottoming down break. Hey, John, real quick. Sorry, buddy.
Good morning, Eric. Listen, okay, I'm the most sympathetic person that you're ever going to meet, but now with these new laws, as they come out online and the new requirements, we know foreclosures are going to increase, delinquencies are going to increase. So we have that happening in our community. 26 people who should have paid all their special assessments from our insurance assessment December of last year have received multiple notices. We're all supposed to be sent to the attorney for collection procedures on March 1st. 2 people requested repayment plans. And
requested what?
Repayment plates?
Repayment plans? Okay.
Oh, plans.
Right. Plans, okay.
Repayment plans. So what happened was the board had some discussion on this one, and one of the president argued strenuously for a repayment plan, and at the same time said, but, to me it's 6 of one and half dozen of the other. Now, our concern is this. Okay, I'm telling them, think this through and check your documents, which I think are silent on this. Are we going to, and they want the attorney to write up a document that says, my name is Joe Blow, and put blanks. I will pay X amount by X day for X number of months. I think that the association, this is an HOA, I think the association should determine the repayment plans, number one. Number two, I'm telling them, look, what you do here, you're going to set a precedent for everybody for the other 260 units. So think this through carefully and get some good advice from the attorney.
Yeah. Listen, let me say this, John, and I got to take a bottom of the hour break really quick. Repayment plans in every association are common, okay? And what do you think is going to happen if you wind up going to court and the defendant says, I always wanted to play, I just want a reasonable repayment plan? What do you think the judge is going to do? Kick that person out of their home?
No.
Or give them the opportunity for a repayment plan, right? Of course the judge is going to give them an opportunity.
How do we structure it? Speak to this, please.
Yeah, so it's common. You give the person the opportunity to pay over time, and not only that, but to pay the other assessments as they come due. So they still have to repay what they owe, but they also have to pay what comes due while they're making the repayment plan.
I guess that's better than nothing.
Of course it's better than. You don't want to kick people out.
The
association should determine it. The association should determine it, and you work out a plan that, people could pay. If a person can't pay what's owed now, you know what you're doing to them by foreclosing on them? You're burying them. And who profits from that?
Nobody.
The association's going to get nothing.
And everybody that's an empty unit. Now everyone else has to pay for that unit.
Right. Sometimes it's a lose-lose for the association, and a payment plan that's reasonable is a win-win. Okay? But we got to take our bottom of the hour break. We're 10 minutes late. Be back right after this.
The future of fiber is here. QXC Communications is a fiber network engineering firm based in Boca Raton. We build fiber networks that deliver high-speed internet, Wi-Fi, HDTV, and voice services, primarily to Florida's condominium communities. QXC's AON architecture is the industry's best practice and a game changer for our customers. We run 2 dedicated fibers to each unit. No splitters, no cables. So, every resident gets uninterrupted blazing fast speed and military-grade data security. Our Wi-Fi 6 network deployment powers performance on multiple devices with no dead zones. And the QXC TV app makes everyday programming access a breeze with 3-day rewind and optional cloud DVR. QXC AON Fiber is where the industry is heading. Get connected today.
Is your condominium or HOA in need of accounting services? Look no further. Gerstel, Rosen & Goldenberg is one of South Florida's largest accounting and auditing firms, as recognized by the South Florida Business Journal, and is one of the few accounting firms uniquely specialized to provide accounting services to their growing condominium and homeowner association clientele throughout Florida. With primary offices in Aventura and Boca Raton, satellite offices in Naples and Orlando, and a professional staff of 65, Gerstel, Rosen & Goldenberg is prepared to meet the needs of any condominium or HOA in the state. The professionals at Gerstel, Rosen & Goldenberg also have experience working with timeshares, cooperatives, hotel condominiums, mixed-use buildings, and ancillary operations like restaurants, spas, and country clubs. Put their 25 years experience in your corner. Gerstel, Rosen & Goldenberg, 305-937-0116. That's 305-937-0116 or grgcpa.com.
Someday, you will need insurance. And for that day, you'll be glad you wrote down Insurco Insurance and Financial Services. Why? Because Insurco virtually insures everything. They're a full-line insurance agency that'll put together the best possible coverage and premium for almost anything. Need homeowners or condo insurance? Call Insurco. Need auto or motorcycle insurance? Call Insurco. How about golf cart insurance or trailer and RV insurance? Just call Insurco for a free quote. They're open every day. From renters insurance, officers and directors insurance, and personal liability umbrellas to all types of business insurance, boat insurance, cancer policies, life, health, and annuities. All you need is Insurco. Get a free quote. They service Dade, Broward, and Palm Beach. Speak English and Spanish. Insurco Insurance and Financial Services. It's the only name you need. Office at 14401 West Sunrise Boulevard in Sunrise, inside Edmore Chevrolet.
Call 954-846-1206. 954-846-1206. That's 954-846-1206.
All over the world, people have plumbing problems. These problems can be expensive and destructive to fix. Have you ever wondered if there was a way to take care of your plumbing problems without destruction and an outrageous price tag? Welcome to Pipelining Technologies, Inc., where we specialize in fixing your problems without demolition and minimum cutting by means of pipelining. Pipelining is the ability to take a pipe damaged by root intrusion or long-term deterioration and make it new. By means of inserting an epoxy-saturated liner into the pipe and allowing it to harden or cure, leaving behind a brand new pipe.
That sounds great. How can I get pipelining in my home, commercial building, or condominium?
Simply fill out our online contact form and a pipelining representative will get in touch with you in a timely fashion, or call us directly at 561-853-5463.
Welcome back to Condo Craze and HOAs here on our YouTube channel. Shout out to, it's Representative. I'm sorry, Daniel Perez out of Miami.
We'd love for him to say hi. We'd love to get him on the show.
He said hello in the chat box,
yeah,
but
you know, a lot of these bills don't get passed if he doesn't want them passed. So, Representative, if that's you, man, we'd love to have you on the show, and future House Speaker.
Yeah, he said,
so,
wow.
Thank you for helping to get these bills passed. It's fantastic.
And don't forget to subscribe on YouTube and hit the bell and give us a heart.
Subscribe and like, absolutely.
And like and give us a thumbs up and all that good stuff.
I understand that our producer of the show,
Robert
Lisman, has a question about parking as well.
I do have a question.
That's a theme.
Well, can a board member gift himself a parking spot or two?
Or two?
Or two. Robert told me in his building, basically everybody's entitled to one spot. That's it. The president somehow has 3. How is that possible?
Well, because he's working so hard for no money,
yes,
he deserves
because
it,
it's
Eric.
good to be the king, that's why. So
That's
the
not
answer
reasonable, is it?
quite clearly seems to me a out and out no. Now, I would like to see what your documents say, right? I always give myself a disclaimer there, but I can't imagine that everybody gets 1 and somehow the president gets 3. So without even looking, I'm going with, no, he can't do that. No, absolutely not. And people should be screaming about it. Absolutely.
But then what do you do? What did Robert do about it?
Let's start with a letter that says get your damn cars out of 2 spots.
Okay.
Right? And we can always do more if that's the situation.
You send that to the president or the whole board? Or?
I'd send it to the boards, as to why the president's getting the right to have 2 spots. And let's see what their answer
certified
would be.
mail.
Yeah, I can't imagine that they have a legitimate answer, but let's see, right? Let's give them the opportunity to tell us, and then we'll go from there. That's crazy. Thanks, Rob. All right. Let's see. Let's go back to the chat box. A lot of good questions. Alan writes in, if an emotional support dog bites someone on the condo property and they don't have insurance, can I sue the condo for medical bills? There's just so many issues that come out of that question. The answer is if the association did not know that this dog was somehow dangerous, then no, you can't sue the condo. The condo was not negligent in any way.
They didn't know that
they
the
didn't
dog
know,
was...
right. If the board previously know that this dog bites.
But they approved the dog to
That's
be
okay.
there.
They approved
because they had the letter from the doctor.
Right, exactly. But it doesn't mean that they knew the dog was dangerous.
Does your dog bite? It's not
but
my dog.
That's the big difference, though, between an emotional support animal
right.
and a real
service
animal, right? A real service animal will absolutely never bite somebody. Now, there's another question that this leads to. What do you do with that dog now? You get the dog out. Now, if I'm the association, now I know the dog bites. I want that animal removed from the property. And the person's going to say, well, it's my emotional support animal. And the answer to that is too bad.
Okay.
Once that animal bites somebody and becomes dangerous, sorry, that animal has to go.
So if the board knows that it is a possible danger and it does bite someone, then you could sue the board.
Absolutely. Rob, there's another question that kind of follows you up. Richard writes in, can a vendor gift their garage space they own to a board member who votes on their contract for landscaping or other services? The board member claims it's legit because it's a gift. That is exactly what the statute is trying to avoid, that the association board members cannot accept gifts from vendors. It's considered a kickback. You're telling me he votes on that vendor's contract, right? Votes yes for that vendor's contract, and then gets a parking space from that. If that's not a kickback, then what is, right? And that clearly violates the statute, in my view. And no, totally illegal. Now, we're running late, so we got to take one more break. What's the telephone number? 717-GLAZER-8 again, 717-GLAZER-8, 717-452-9378. Back right after this.
Home or condo looking old, worn out, and in need of a fresh look? Then you need PD Painting to paint your property and make it look like new again. PD Painting will first properly prepare your home and condo and then use only the highest quality paint products. After many years in the painting industry, PD Painting has achieved a reputation for always delivering a reliable and professional finish. PD Painting is fully licensed and insured and offers a 7 to 10-year warranty. Their technicians are expert craftsmen. Let PD Painting handle all the details and then sit back and watch them restore your property and bring back that brand new look and feel. Need a service call? PD Painting will be there on the spot. Need financing? PD Painting can offer that too. Call PD Painting at 888-416-3204. Again, that's 888-416-3204. Go to the website pdpaintinginc.com. Need painting done in your home and community? Contact the experts at PD Painting.
This message is for anyone who has taken on the important responsibility of becoming an officer or director in a homeowner or condominium association. It is also for the management companies who work closely with these caring people to make sure things are done the right way. Hello, I'm Gil Pomar, South Florida Regional President for Center State Bank, now the second largest bank based in Florida. Our bank, Center State Bank, has an amazing team of professionals who are exclusively dedicated to the homeowner and condo association market. Your job is not easy. There are repairs and new projects that need financing. There are legal and social issues that need to be understood. There are also technology and servicing issues that your residents want to be improved. Why not choose a bank that knows this business backward and forward? Why not have a local banker who will meet with you face to face whenever it is convenient for you or your board? Center State Bank has over 2,000 associations as customers for a reason. Please give us a chance to earn your business. Call Terry Russo at 954-633-1666 to make it happen. Center State Bank is an equal housing lender and a member of the FDIC.
Need an insurance evaluation, audit, or quotation for your condo association or homeowners association? If so, then you need to speak with our insurance experts at Mack & Waltz. We insure over 800 associations, and we are the clear leader in this marketplace. Mack & Waltz has been in business since 1989. We write insurance on billions of dollars of property values. We are an independent insurance agency representing insurance companies which specialize in condo and HOA insurance. The staff at Mack & Waltz works closely with board members and property managers and regularly attends association meetings to help educate the association about their insurance policies. To learn more about how Mack & Waltz can save you money and improve your insurance program, call now 954-640-6225 and ask for Greg Waltz. 954-640-6225. Mack & Waltz Insurance Group. Let us protect your association.
Welcome back to our final segment of Condo Craze and HOAs here on our YouTube channel. We're taking your calls. If you want to give Eric a call and ask him a question about anything condo or HOA related, he's board certified on the topic. 717-452-9378. That works out to 717-GLAZER8 with a Z.
Okay, who do we got on the phone?
Let's go to Donna.
Donna, how are you, Donna?
Hi, Eric. Hi.
Oh,
it's
Donata, how are you, Donata?
Hi, Eric. How are you?
Okay, what's going on?
Okay, for years I have been complaining to the post office, state attorney's office, DBPR, and you that my mail has been tampered with. In the last board meeting and every board unit owners meeting, I state I am recording this meeting. The president came out with more or less something like this. You pretend that you're so honest, but your son has a credit card and he doesn't live in the United States. And you didn't pay your American Express. Well, what she doesn't know is that I had to go to the American consulate in Brazil with my son for him to give me power of attorney for him to open an account here for a savings account. But that doesn't matter. For her to know about the credit card and if I paid or not my American Express, the only way was tampering with my mail.
No question.
Now, if I go to the police is going to say, oh, it's civil.
No, it's federal.
Because not long ago, oh yes, not long ago I went to the police with another unit owner to show to the police that this same president is lying to the state,
yeah,
to the government. And the police said, "Oh, it's civil."
Well, you know, hold on 1 second. Donato, 1 second.
Yeah.
I don't think the regular police. Well, I don't know if that's the right entity to complain to, because there's also a postal police. You know, and they.
No, I already did. I complained that before.
Yeah,
and
but
nothing happened.
Right, because
now,
they don't. Hold on, they don't have
now,
proof. They need proof. You know, they need it basically on camera that this person tampered with your mail, and that then they can make an arrest. Believe me. Without that.
What about what she said?
I understand,
what she said?
Again, I hear you, but there's no proof other than that statement that she tampered with the mail, with your mail.
Well, that she has information she could not have gotten any other way.
Anywhere else, you know, I don't know. Maybe she did. Maybe she could have.
And is that a threat that she's giving her? Is that a threat or an intimidation?
She's saying you're not a perfect person either because you don't pay your bills. But is that enough for the postal police? Certainly not enough for the local police to make an arrest. Is that enough for postal police to make an arrest? Probably not without any other evidence to support the fact that you think she went into your mail. Now, so Donata, I understand your frustration, but I don't think we get there in terms of an arrest. Now, I will tell you, I
don't want to arrest. I would like her to be prosecuted.
Well, that's an arrest. That's an arrest.
That's
an arrest.
That's
an arrest. Okay,
yeah, you have
Rob.
to be arrested and then prosecuted.
Yeah, exactly. Okay. I had a case a couple of years ago in Aventura where we actually caught the security company for whatever reason. We have it on video. Going to the mail bin. Going to the mail bin, right? I'm watching him. He has the mail in the mail bin, and there's cameras all over the place. And then he goes to the garbage bin and takes the mail and dumps it in the garbage bin. And I have the whole thing on video.
Why?
Don't ask me why. Some people just like to do dumb things. Well, this guy liked to do dumb things. And I had him on video picking up the outgoing mail, right? Taking it to the garbage bin and dumping it in the garbage bin. The whole thing on tape. I don't think the association wanted to put him in jail, although...
Is that the first time he did it?
Yeah, it's just bizarre, behavior. Obviously, he didn't work there after that, but... Was he the guy that was supposed to put it in the mailboxes? Yeah, I think so, just to make sure that the postman gets it.
Okay. Oh, I see.
And
okay,
instead,
the outgoing.
postman didn't pick up the outgoing mail that
And so
day.
he just threw it away.
Right. Now, a lot of people, I remember the issues were, well, suppose next month I get interest charges and so on and so forth. Can I sue the security company? The answer is yes, you certainly can. You have the proof that the security company, did that. Is it worth your time? Probably not. And was there proof there to have someone arrested? Yeah, we had the proof on that one. That was clear. That's a lot different than Donata's case. Okay, all right, let's take a question from the board, and I think then we'll wrap it up for the day. Can a board member be sued individually? Let's say we had that board member on video taking that mail and throwing it in the garbage. Yes, that board member can certainly be prosecuted individually. But if you look at the statute, right, the Corporate Act, and in 718 and in 720, it basically says, if you look at it, board members, generally speaking, you are immune from prosecution. If you act in good faith, don't worry about it. We can never arrest you. You can never get sued personally if what you do is in good faith.
So maybe the U.S. Supreme Court will decide the same thing about Trump?
Yeah, good luck. We don't know. We don't know what's going to happen on that one.
Right, because in this case, the president of the board has to be acting in good faith.
Correct.
But then can be sued individually. Criminally?
You can always sue a board member for any reason whatsoever. Now, if they're going to be held liable, the answer is they cannot be held liable. It's very important for board members to know this. You cannot be held liable, right, if you always act in good faith. Now, the statute actually sets out examples of what is not good faith.
What are they?
Okay, here's some examples of not good faith. If what you do constitutes a violation of the criminal law, right? Clear example is you steal from the association's funds. You go to the operating account and you make it your own account. You just take money from there. Clearly a violation of the criminal law. Clearly the association could sue you. No, it will not be covered by insurance. And yes, you will have to pay back that money from your own personal funds. It's one way. Taking a kickback is another way. You get a kickback for maybe a free parking space or some money.
It's a gift.
Right, that's right. Or some money for awarding a vendor a contract. You will be sued in your individual capacity. You will have to give back that money from your personal funds, and insurance will not cover it. Another way, you single somebody out for prosecution in your community because of race, religion, color. you will be sued in your individual capacity, right? You will not be covered by insurance, and any judgment against you will be paid by your own funds.
And
now,
if you were told about a problem, a safety hazard?
Next, that's where we're going next. Good. That's the fourth one, okay? So basically, if we stop there, basically no one would have a problem. But the board member deserves to pay in their individual capacity. Obviously, if they sue, they get a kickback, they single someone out for prosecution. Of course they should be sued in their individual capacity. Of course they should have to pay back that monies from their own personal funds. No problem there. However, there's a fourth potential way of getting sued.
If they knew your dog bites?
If they knew about a safety issue, that's right. If they knew about a safety issue and didn't do it, a lack of regard for safety, okay? So the example I usually give is, let's say tonight's your board meeting, right? And the board members are sitting at the dais, and they watch people walk into the room, and someone slips on a broken tile, right? And they say, oh, we're so sorry for that. By next board meeting, it'll be fixed. We apologize. And the April meeting comes around. And they don't fix it. Someone again slips. We're sorry, we'll get around to it. The May meeting comes around. Another person slips. They don't fix it. The June meeting comes around. Someone slips and breaks a hip. Now, if I'm plaintiff's attorney, pretty easy for me to prove that the board members acted with disregard for safety, and I can sue each of those board members in their individual capacity. By the way, if it's proven that they acted with disregard for safety, no insurance coverage, any judgment against them will be paid from their personal funds. So be careful when it comes to a safety issue, board members. You stop, you drop, you fix it. Not having enough money to fix it is never an excuse. You go to court, what's a judge going to say? You're an association. Show me, did you try to get the money from a bank? Did you pass a special assessment? No. Judgment for the plaintiff. So when it comes to safety, stop and fix it right away. If not, it could be on you individually. And on that note, let's call it a Sunday. Great show today. Had a lot of fun on Condo Craze and HOAs. And of course, we'll see you, speak to you again, and take your calls next Sunday here on YouTube at